Verse 9, the Lord, this is the third chapter of 2 Peter. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness. He's long-suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. The elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hasting, speeding, to the coming of the Lord our God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless we, according to his promise, look for a new heaven and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, this explains why we preach this word. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look or anticipate such things, be diligent that you may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. A noted television evangelist this past few months gave a shocking warning to the United States. Respected man, and you know him, and he's a friend of mine, and I trust that God speaks to him, and he's warning America that there's coming a catastrophe that's going to cost the lives of multitudes and change the way we live forever. Another noted evangelist, who's a friend of mine, a television evangelist, confirms the same thing. And recently he took, I think, a half-page ad in Washington, D.C. newspapers, making approximately the same warning. And in my mailing list, there are many praying pastors. They are unknown, but they're godly men and godly women who have been prophesying. And I know from the tone of their letters, and it's not just the first time. Many of them write to us numerous times. And it's been the same thing. Something is coming shortly. Something coming soon. And we had better be prepared. And they are warning. See, God takes those without an agenda. He'll take those that are not known. He'll take the poor and the weak of this world. And he'll speak. And he's doing that right now. Many have a right to say, Brother Dave, you have a voice and we don't. But would you please take this message that we've heard to the Lord and pray about it and see if you can speak it to others in a wider audience. And we're hearing that all the time now. Repeatedly. And the newscast that I listen to on radio. And this is well known. Some of the well-known commentators, news commentators, and host of news programs are saying, in essence, we can't know it, but intuitively something is telling the whole world that it's on the brink of a catastrophe. On the brink of a catastrophe. These are secular people. This intuitiveness of even the most wicked on the face of the earth, and especially here in the United States, there's intuitive something brewing inside where they know something has happened and they dread to talk about it. There's a fear. That same fear is in Israel. They don't want to talk about any Holocaust that could come. They don't want to talk about it. There's a fear. Just leave it alone. Just let it happen. The superpower. China has boasted now. They're starting a Navy. They're starting an Air Force. And they say they're going to replace the United States as a superpower. And everything seems to be made in China now. Everything seems to be made. Everything's being manufactured. And they've just now put in place a missile program that can knock down our spy satellites. And they are moving now and all over South America. Everywhere we travel now on our conferences in South America, you can go all the way to Uruguay, and you go up through Peru, you go up through Latin America, and the Chinese have moved in, buying loyalty, buying that, just investing in those countries and putting billions of dollars to become the world superpower. You see these amazing things happening in the world today. Joel Rosenberg wrote a book I read this past week entitled Epicenter. He writes about the president of Iran Ahmadinejad. The president of Iran claims to have visited the 12th Imam, the Messiah, the chief Mahdi that's coming, their Messiah. And he's had visitation from him and said, I have been placed in power by the 12th Imam. This is the Messiah they've been looking for. And I've been told that I was placed in power at this time to create chaos in the world because the great 12th Imam can't come until there's total chaos in the world. And he comes to bring peace in that chaos. And he has boasted to his inner circle, and this has been proven. He has boasted in his inner circle that there are only 3 years at the most before it all ends. Now, he is saying the same things Hitler said, and the world ignored him. And Hitler sent out signals all the time. And now the president of Iran is saying we're going to wipe Israel off the map. And they are already, most believe now that they're already nuclear capable. Amazing things that are happening now in our time before us. I read the report of a nuclear scientist, and he's involved in the security forces of the United States and Homeland Security. And this is what he said. He said, if all they have to do is bring in through Mexico a 10-kiloton nuclear bomb, could be brought in a small vehicle. And if they could explode that over in Washington, D.C., 300,000 would die. A simple bomb in New York City, 500,000 people would die at the epicenter. This is a leading expert. And he said the resulting fireball would take out the theater district. That's where we're standing now. The New York Times building, Grand Central Station, and all the buildings in the third mile around. And the the fireball would be so strong that fires would break out in suburbs all over New York City